Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the People's Champ podcast. Today we're going to be going over week one recaps. We're going to be talking about waiver wire transactions of the week, and we're also going to be talking about the big trade of the week that happened yesterday. But first, I want to start off with the podcast by I don't want to talk too much about the Dynasty League in this because this is really for redraft, but I can't help but talk about the upset of the week. Upset of the week, man. I got a win over the Dynasty of Dynasties. I beat Bobby's Dynasty team with, it's been a lot of perseverance, a lot of, I had to go through a lot of tanking to get this team, but I think I got a quality team with Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Buka, Puka Nakua. It's time. All right. Now, that being said, let's talk about the week one matchups from last week. The first matchup I want to talk about is the Mitch Isaac matchup. Isaac being the defending champion. Mitch, you overcame, Worthy and Drake London getting hurt and underperforming to defeat the defending champ. So that was awesome. Let's give kudos to Mitch. Isaac. That might be Isaac having Tyreek Hill on your roster might be rough this year. Let's take a look at your team. Hold on real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Mitch, you really pulled it out with Lamar Jackson and Saquon. And I know I said your worst pick was Ty Warren, but he did good for a tight end this very first week. Mitch, it's going to be hard for you. Not Mitch, Isaac, it's going to be hard for you to overcome rostering Tyreek Hill all season, but hopefully, Terry McLaurin and Matthew Golden can turn around your season, or maybe you can just ride Bijan the rest of the year. But it looks like, having a roster with Tyreek Hill, it's going to be a rough sledding for you there. But how do I get out of this? But let's go on to our next matchup. Our next matchup is going to be James and Pat. James, wow. You really rode a strong outing. Strong outing from Josh Allen. I think he had, what did he have? 48 points from Josh Allen. Really took you over the top, So really getting that performance out of Josh Allen, there's really not much Pat could do after that. And along with having James Conner and Breece Hall, which I said was your best pick, making your team look really scary this year. Pat, Zay balled out, and you got that TD from Zach Ertz, but it just wasn't enough to, beat that dominating performance from James. So, James, your team's looking pretty good going into after week one, going into the rest of the season. Hopefully, Breece Hall can keep doing his thing, and he might be a force. Next matchup is going to be Bobby and myself. Bobby, your busts of the week are Nico, Pickens, Dak, and Waddle. Starting all those guys must have been a real pain in the neck. But couldn't be any worse than George Kittle. George Kittle going IR. That is that's really, yeah, man. So them underperforming. Kittle had a touchdown for you, but losing him for the next 4 weeks, maybe even longer, I've heard, might be a rough road ahead of you. But for me personally, really excited about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s performance. Getting a touchdown from a slant route is just something. He was getting quick screens and stuff. Really gives me a but that's just the quick screen games. It's not something you didn't really see last year. I know he had a lot of his points from a deep ball, but I don't know. It looks like they're utilizing him a little differently than they were last year. So just wait. Marvin Harrison Jr., might be wide receiver 1. Just wait. And then also, even though this was on my bench, but having strong performance from Bill Krosky, Javonte, Keon Coleman makes me really feel good about the week. So, Bobby, I'm sorry I had to do it to you first week, but
What are you doing, step bro?
but getting a win, getting that week 1 win really feels good. Dwayne and Jason. Jason, big performances from Jalen and Puka really carried you. And Dwayne, the roster that I thought was the strongest really underperformed. Dwayne with only 100.45 points. I really thought your big 3 wide receivers in Ladd and Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. were gonna really be a force to reckon with. Now, I know it's only week 1, and Neighbors kind of crashed out on the sideline, and Brian Thomas Jr. didn't really do much except he got a touchdown, rushing touchdown. But I think your team could turn around. Baker had a good game, a good fantasy game, not really a good NFL game, but so I still like your team, but just it was a rough week 1. And Jason, yeah, just having Puka, Jalen Hurts, Jacoby Myers with a good game. That you really could be doing something here in this fantasy football season. Also, Dwayne, I wanted to talk about, you got the 3 big wide receivers, but you might have 2 running back 2s on their team in Pacheco and Ken Walker. So unless you do something, make a big trade, maybe trade Pearsall, maybe get another running back. It looks like your running back's going to be a little weak. But, I still think with those 3 wide receivers you have, you still might be in good shape. Next matchup is going to be Seth and Barrett. Seth, the strongest outing of the week. All I've written down is Henry and McCaffrey. Wow. Like having McCaffrey, if they stay healthy, especially if McCaffrey stays healthy, knock on wood for you, but if McCaffrey stays healthy with Derrick Henry, holy shit, you might be looking at something. And Barrett, let down by your whole team, except for Chuba. Chuba had a good game. Achane had an all right game. Genty was very involved. I have Genty in Dynasty, and I was happy with the role that Genty had. We all knew Genty was going to have a big role going into the season for that Las Vegas offense, but just not a lot of production. I don't know if that New England defensive line is really revamped with Milton Williams, but it's week 1. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And the next matchup I want to talk about is Cole and Greg. Big win for kickers over quarterbacks. That was a real big win for kickers over quarterbacks, even though you started the wrong quarterback. But let's see. Let's see what you got here. Yeah, your big performances for James Cook, Kyron Williams, Justin Jefferson was mediocre. Definitely subpar for Justin Jefferson. But yeah, James Cook, Kyron did pretty good. Now, I was looking at your bench with having Wilson and Fields on your bench performing the way that they did. You might have the stack of the draft. I always did like Garrett Wilson. I think he's uber talented. I didn't like his quarterback. But if Fields plays like he does week 1, you might be in really good shape. And Cole, for you, I've written down AJ, Loveland, Hampton. Not really looking good. That was rough to see. You did have Ibuka on your bench. He looks like, a shining star there. So maybe you need to put Ibuka in your starting lineup, and maybe you'll have better results in week 2. And quick for the waiver wire transactions. This week we had the biggest waiver wire transaction was Dwayne with Jawan Johnson, a bid of $12 for the Saints tight end. He did have, I think it was like 96% snap share, which is a lot more than he had under Dennis Allen. So maybe he's being utilized in a different role than he was last year. So $12 bid that's not too crazy. No crazy bids this year. I think last year likely went for like $30. So, but we didn't go too crazy this year, week one. But I also like Bobby's waiver wire transaction of Harold Fannin Jr. For $9. I put a bid in myself for $0 if I had Brock Bowers. If I didn't have Brock Bowers, I'd have gone heavier. But Harold Fannin Jr., rookie tight end from Cleveland, was really involved with the Cleveland offense. If Joe Flacco keeps being the quarterback, he might turn into something, but we shall see. And then also Barrett with a $10 bid for Quentin Johnson. That was... Some people like that. I think he did the same thing last year with where he had a first good 2 weeks, but hasn't been much since then. But maybe in this third year he turns it around. And also with the trade of the week, we had Mitch and Barrett pull off a trade. Mitch sending out Keenan Allen for Barrett's Jameson Williams. Now, I know Keenan Allen had a good week one, and Jameson Williams didn't have a good week one. But Barrett, I really don't understand this trade. If you're drafting, if we're drafting like tomorrow, then Jameson Williams probably goes about 5 rounds ahead of Keenan Allen.
What are you doing, step bro?
So I don't really understand the trade, but hey, look, dude, if Keenan Allen has more performances like he did week one and is really the second slot wide receiver for the Chargers, and if the Chargers decide to throw the ball as much as they did week one, you might be.
I'm gonna come.
But Jameson Williams, really dynamic, really fast wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Really young, just got a brand new contract extension. I like that trade for Mitch. Hopefully the Detroit Lions offense isn't as bad as they showed week one. And they can continue to turn around because they got a lot of good pieces on that offense that we would all love to see in fantasy do good. Laporta, Gibbs, Montgomery. So yeah, that's the episode 2 for the People's Champ podcast. Beckett's sleeping, so I wasn't able to do a Beckett's Boom Pick of the Week. Hopefully in the morning I'll just do a record and I'll probably text it out for everybody to see. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode, and hopefully you guys have a good week too. And I'm playing Seth this week. Worst of luck to you, Seth. And hopefully no other players go on IR, and we all make it out week 2 thinking we have strong teams. All right, that's it.